Okay, we have a last presentation that's supposed to be given by Mr. Mark Giller. Is Mark here? Please join the stage. Mark is coming from Netherlands. So we will have this presentation on Farmlike, right? So the stage is yours.
Yeah. My name is Mark Giller. I'm from the Netherlands, presenting a small startup called Farmlike, what I've been working on for the last few years. I'm happy to be here and happy to present a little bit our journey. So I'm going to present you a little bit our journey towards this project, a little bit how it was created. And interestingly is that we started like 10 years ago, like moving towards Spain. Sorry? Okay. So we start living on a small farm in Valencia. So we got a few hectares where we start producing olive oil and eventually started also experimenting with truffles. So when we were like talking with other members from the cooperative, we hear that a lot of them were disappearing. The same as our friend from Austria was mentioning that every day farmers are disappearing, so it's quite shocking. Let's see if I can show you a video. I think I need to with the mouse. Oh. There's like a video from last weekend in the Netherlands. You see the beautiful landscape of the tulips in the Netherlands. But unfortunately, like, this is also a true fact that 1/3 of the farms have disappeared in the last 15 years. So, like what we heard also today, like rural tourism, we think can be really like an opportunity for bringing new people into to getting into farms. So what we have been doing the last few years is talking to a lot of farmers. So we try to understand like what is right, like the reason why they're disappearing. Probably also quite obvious is the inflation. We have been seeing that there's no really replacement. So what we also figured out is that in some countries, like the other day I was reading in the news in Spain, that they need around 200,000 young generation farmers that want to replace. So that's quite shocking. So we need to do things to actually motivate these young people. Of course, you see the drought, especially in the Mediterranean, it's quite heavy. Also, like looking into our olive oil production, we really saw that it went into half. Also, like there were some stormy issues with some hail. It's really made that olive oil skyrocketed in prices. But of course, like it has to do because it was just a very poor harvest. Also, of course, like the little revenues makes that you need to look into other revenue streams besides the normal production. So what I've been doing is like interviewing a lot of farms. So like as we were experimenting ourselves, like we have this farm, we have this land, some farm buildings, we wanted to do some activities in there. But then when we were talking, we were really enthusiastic about what is actually happening in all these farms. So we were interested in understanding like the pain points of the farmers, diversifying to other revenue models, and what are the key drivers from them. So just a few examples of some farmers that we met, like a farmer in Valencia. He was a really good example of somebody that was really like playing with the right elements to get a good flow of people coming to his farm. And he also was actually like a little bit, somebody like that was a little bit behind the digitalization, so he was not having so much administration, or he had a lot of administration, but a little bit less time to actually work on his farm. But I have to say, like he did well in storytelling, which was also what a lot of farmers mentioned. That was not really the most developed thing. When you're looking at a farmer in Eindhoven, he was like having a big problem with finding workers. And then one day he figured out, hey, let's just change that. Let's organize a harvest event. So he started organizing like a picking event, and in one weekend, he made that all basically the people in Eindhoven start picking the apples. So he fixed the problem with the workers, and he received market prices from the supermarket. So quite creative, and this after that every year has been sold out just in a couple of days. So it's really popular. So a few of our observations have been that little time to manage multiple revenue streams and organize admin. We also figured out that from all the farmers that we met, rules and regulations was one of the biggest hurdles. So some of the key figures that we got is that some farmers, they were waiting like 7 years to get permits to extend. So they had like a farm camping and they wanted to grow, but they couldn't change, or they were just like waiting to get like a permit for like a childcare or just things like that. Also the storytelling and inspiration were things that they could use help with, as well as investment. So understanding like what they can actually obtain with their business model. So some conclusions: we decided to focus on storytelling for our startup and reaching the right audience, as well as the time and admin element was something that we wanted to focus on, especially also the inspiration around business models. So in the later stage, we wanted to help also with regulations for the farmers in transition. So we feel like, as of a lot of farmers, they need to move towards this transition. We want to just take away these key the parts that make it very difficult. So we also collaborate with the University of Utrecht, where we ask a lot of people in the field, like, what actually are you looking for when you're visiting farms? Like, what really makes that you want to go to experience agritourism? So everybody said, like, we want to get this connection with farm animals. They also are all looking for culture, so to really, especially going to a new place, they want to experience this real culture from that land. And of course, going towards the rural areas, you want to explore the local food, as we heard also today, and spice it up a little bit with a great experience around it, combining all these factors. So the type of farm tourism that we have saw is, one hand, recreational, educational, entertainment, hospitality, and what combines them all is the local sales aspect. When you're looking at a little bit broader in the Netherlands, we see that a really big part of it, of course, is local sales, like what really combines them all. A little bit recreation, like the sleeping at the farm, the eating at the farm. The agaric childcare is growing quite a lot. The nature-inclusive farming is also gaining a lot of attention. So the government is giving away subsidies so that they can rewild the lands, with what we also hear today. So this is really one really big part of a really important part of the revenues that the farmers is obtaining. And then one of the biggest growing segments in the Netherlands is the healthcare farm. So if you're looking at the complete the Netherlands, like, so one out of 3 is actually already diversifying, and 1/3 or something like that is at this moment already the healthcare farm. So like, it can be farms that have like disabled people in the farm, and the Dutch government is basically paying per disabled persons of people that are living in the farm. Also, like you see a lot of farms that are using people for having burnouts, or people that, as well as elderly people that just prefer to be in the nature, to work as they grow older, and having a way more better mental health because of that. So everybody, I think, is dreaming of a regenerative world. A lot of people living in the city are looking for places to reconnect with nature. And also we figured out that a lot of people have no really good access. When you're looking at Europe, I think it's it's getting more digital, but looking outside of Europe, it's also like really not digital at all. Also, I think that all farms, of course, they are like a little more poor. So what does Farmlike stand for? We want to give a platform where people can actually offer their local sales, to promote local kilometer zero, sleeping at the farm, experiences and spaces. So we see that a lot of farms have spaces available, have a lot of empty space as well, so that we think that they can be functioning for co-working, for hospital farms, like you name it. Also QR code sharing, we believe in the network of sharing, so I think that's something important for us to add. Impact that we want to create is lowering the carbon footprint, so to drive more people to the farm, increase farmers' revenues by all different kind of revenue streams, be the solution for regenerative tourism, so actually have people participating in these farms, and make farming more attractive for the new generation. So we also are aligned with several of the SDGs. I think I just mentioned 6, but most of them, I think you can tell a nice story around it. So what we want to do is help farmers diversify to new revenue streams and build a connection with tourism and locals to rural heritage. So this is a few snapshots of our first launch app. Changed a little bit of it, but this is the first version. This is the web-based platform that we just recently launched, and several of our collaboration partners. Also would like to invite everybody that would like to join us in our mission. So we are looking for advisors and the collaboration partners in any field that is related to rural tourism. So a little bit about ourselves. As myself, Juan is our computer engineer. Anna is a veterinarian, and she used to work for the Ministry of Health in Spain. And we have several freelance software and social media experts. So thank you very much for listening, and yeah, feel free to reach out. And thank you for staying that long.